You pick a video model, build your whole pipeline around it, and then find out it's gated behind early access with zero public pricing. That's FLUX 3 right now. And Seedance 2.5 is sitting right there with a live API and real numbers. FLUX 3, Seedance 2.5, and Veo 3.1 are all pitching you on video generation. So the question is which one you can actually ship with today. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Test 1 is cost, and the failure mode is real. You're scoping a production workflow. You need to know if a 5-second clip runs you under $1 or $5, and one of these tools just won't tell you. No public pricing means no budget means no green light, and your project stalls before a single frame renders. I went through every public number I could find. Seedance 2.5 lands at roughly $15 to $70 a month on Dreamina, or about 0.47 to 1.06 per 5-second clip through the Byte Plus API, which opened July 16th. FLUX 3 has no public pricing at all because it's still gated early access, and Veo 3.1 has no official per-clip rate either, so you're flying blind on 2 out of 3. Seedance 2.5 takes cost, and the win is less about the price being great and more about it being the only price that actually exists. I couldn't find a single published figure from FLUX 3, not even early access tiers, so Seedance goes up on the board first. Seedance 2.5 1, FLUX 3 0, Veo 3.1 0. I've been deep in these tools long enough to know that a missing price page will kill a real workflow before it starts, and I'd love to know if it's bitten you too, so drop it in the comments. Test 2 is speed, and the objection I keep hearing is that generation time doesn't really matter. You just queue it up and wait. Okay, but if you're iterating on a 30-second spot with 10 rounds of feedback, a 1-minute wait per clip turns a 2-hour session into a full day, and that's before you factor in the client on the call. Community reports put FLUX 3 at somewhere between a few seconds and roughly a minute per generation, which is a pretty wide range. And Seedance 2.5 is being reported as near real time, though ByteDance hasn't confirmed that number officially. So treat both figures as directional rather than locked-in specs. Seedance 2.5 takes speed on the directional call, and the community consensus puts it meaningfully ahead on latency, even accounting for how new FLUX 3 is. So that's Seedance 2.5 2, FLUX 3.0, Veo 3.1, still 0. Test 3 is context and output limits, and here's the concrete problem. You're building a 30-second product demo. You've got 20 reference images for brand consistency, and your model caps out at 20 seconds and accepts only 10 references. You're now stitching clips and losing consistency at every seam, which adds hours of cleanup and makes the whole thing look amateur. The numbers on screen tell the story pretty clearly. Seedance 2.5 does 30 seconds natively in a single pass and takes up to 50 combined references, while FLUX 3 tops out at 20 seconds and 10 image references, and Veo 3.1 has no published figure for either limit, so you're guessing on Google's side. Seedance 2.5 wins context and output limits decisively. 50 references versus 10 is a 5x gap, and the clip length difference is just as clean. 30 seconds native beats 20 seconds single pass with no contest. Scoreboard: Seedance 2.5 3, FLUX 3.0, Veo 3.10. So Seedance 2.5 is looking strong right now, but there are still 2 dimensions ahead that could flip how you think about this, especially if your use case goes beyond standard video generation into robotics, self-hosting, or a broader modality mix, because one of these models is doing something the other two literally cannot do, and that changes the calculus for certain builders entirely. Test 4 is deployment and modality, and the scenario that makes this hurt is this. You build a video pipeline, ship it, and then 6 months later, you need to add audio generation, or run the model on-prem because your client has data compliance requirements. If your model doesn't support it and has no open weights, you're rebuilding from scratch. The part that got me here is FLUX 3's modality list: image, video, audio, and action prediction, plus planned open weights through FLUX 3 Dev, and it's already been deployed in Audi's production lines for robotics use cases, which is genuinely different from anything Seedance 2.5 or Veo 3.1 is doing right now, even though both of those do solid audio-video joint generation. FLUX 3 takes deployment and modality, and I'll be honest, action prediction plus planned open weights is a real differentiation that Seedance just doesn't have, even with its API maturity. Updated scoreboard: Seedance 2.53, FLUX 3.1, Veo 3.1. Test 5 is coding benchmark performance, and the viewer objection here is fair. Some people genuinely want to know if these models have been stress tested on structured output tasks or code adjacent generation, because they're building agentic pipelines where the video model is one node in a bigger system that also writes and runs code. I went through every model card and benchmark page for FLUX 3, Seedance 2.5, and Veo 3.1, and coding benchmarks simply don't apply here. These are video generation models. None of them publish scores on code tasks, and the dimension is genuinely not applicable, rather than a gap in the data collection, so there's nothing to score. No result here is not applicable, so the board stays put. Final tally: Seedance 2.53, FLUX 3.1, Veo 3.10, one dimension off the board. FLUX 3 wins on modality breadth. It's the only one covering image, video, audio, and action prediction in a single model, and it's the only one with planned open weights through FLUX 3 Dev for self-hosting. The Audi robotics deployment is also unique. No other model in this comparison has a real-world industrial use case already running in production. Seedance 2.5 wins on everything that matters for shipping right now. 30-second native clips versus FLUX 3's 20 seconds. 50 reference inputs versus FLUX 3's 10. Transparent community estimated pricing in the range of about 47 cents to $1.06 per 5-second clip. And a live Byte Plus API that opened July 16th, meaning you can actually build with it today without being on a waitlist. Veo 3.1 doesn't win a formal benchmark in this comparison, but if you're already running inside Google's ecosystem, Gemini, Google Flow, workspace integrations, it's the path of least friction because the access, billing, and tooling are already connected, and you don't have to set up a new API relationship or figure out Byte Plus account management from scratch. If you need to ship video today, pick Seedance 2.5. It's the only one with real pricing, a live API, and 30-second clips you can actually plan a budget around. If you can get early access and your use case touches robotics, self-hosting, or multimodal pipelines beyond standard video, FLUX 3 is the long-term bet worth waiting for. One thing the docs don't spell out: Seedance 2.5 supports multi-round clip extension, meaning you can keep extending a generation past the 30-second native cap in subsequent passes rather than starting over. That's nowhere in the main feature list, but community testers confirmed it, and it changes how you think about the 30-second ceiling entirely. If you're evaluating AI tools at this level, you probably also want to know where the underlying language models land right now. So check out the video I did on Claude Sonnet 5. Should you use it? Because the answer is more interesting than the marketing makes it sound, and it connects directly to how you'd architect a pipeline around any of these video models.